Our first sister city was Durham, England, which is logical, and we've done a number of programs with them, particularly in neighborhood visits back and forth. Okay? And then a year ago, we formed the Zhuzhou Committee with regard to our first Chinese sister city. Okay? There are several members here who, of sister cities who helped get that organized. Our special guest today, Lydia Hodgson, is one of those who helped us get that committee organized. Lydia is like several who have been very much involved with it. She is a statistician at Duke Cancer Institution. Mark Goodwillie, over here, coming up Mark, is also very active in that group, and Mark serves as the chair of the Zhuzhou Committee. Okay? And he's going to help us introduce some of the material in the presentation by Lydia. Lydia is a fascinating person as we've gotten to know her. Okay? She not only is a statistician at Duke Cancer Institute, she is a member of the, as with the traditional, what is it, Kunqu opera, those of us who are not familiar with the Chinese language. She's been very active with regard to performing as a performer on traditional Chinese instruments. She loves to dance. She's quite a runner, but also got very excited about Chinese opera back in 1996 when she went to hear a major presentation in Raleigh. She fell in love with it, and since then has continued to work very closely with it. She is a member of the Society of Kunqu Arts here in the Washington, D.C. area. She's a member of the Triangle Area Peking Opera Association. She's also a member of the Research Triangle Park Chinese Music Ensemble. So we're certainly glad to have her here, and Mark will give us, if he wants to comment briefly about the Zhuzhou Committee, and then something in introduction to what we are hearing today. Mark?
Thank you. Thank you, Brady. Has anybody in this room ever been to China? All right, well, that's great. Well, I'm going to guess everybody had the same kind of preconceived notion that I had, that China was just getting out of the third world, and when I got there, I'd see lots of bicycles and rickshaws. Boy, was I surprised. Holy cow. You even go out in the countryside and there aren't very many bicycles and rickshaws. It's modern cars and incredibly modern buildings, transportation. It's very, very impressive. I went there on a business trip. I didn't even know about sister cities at the time, and went to Zhuzhou on a different purpose, and all of a sudden I found myself talking to the city council about the sister city idea. So you can tell I was really well prepared. At any rate, some good work had been done in the past, but things just sort of had gone stagnant. So we were able to get some momentum going and came back and had some big help from a professor at NC State who actually had gotten the whole thing started in the past. And the next thing you know, we have our first committee in 20 years. Have some wonderful people who are helping out. And, even though I've been to China twice, my Chinese is pretty poor. So with that, so we did a lot of things. We had a really nice exchange with 29 students last April. And when the ages were told to us, I was like, you're kidding. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And I just couldn't imagine a 3rd grader coming from China to America by themselves, essentially with a few adults and some classmates, to go on a trip. That just really impressed me. Well, so did the young people. They were really cool kids. They made friends in about, 30 seconds or so. They had no trouble with that. That's a good lesson for us adults to think about why children seem to get along with each other regardless of any statistic or characteristic you can think of. So that's a good lesson for us adults. At any rate, it was very successful. They stayed 4 days, had a great time, and when the bus pulled away, there weren't just children crying. There were plenty of adults who were shedding tears. So it was a wonderful experience. In fact, meeting after this performance today to look at how we can do our next exchange in the spring. All right, enough of me. We're here today to really see an exciting program. And I'm just going to give you, like I said, a brief introduction to Chinese traditional Kunqu opera. And I will apologize in advance for my pronunciation. Kunqu opera originated from Kunsan, also called Qin. It's the first and foremost Chinese performing art with a long history of more than 600 years. Kunqu opera has a rich repertoire and complete performing system of its own. The lyrics are elegantly composed, the melody beautiful and pleasing, the movements and gestures attractive, and the martial arts are stunning. It is said that this art form is a perfect combination of poetry, music, dance, and drama. In 2001, it was proclaimed by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, which we know as UNESCO, to be one of the 19 masterpieces of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. That's a mouthful. All right. Quinn Opera, the Peony Pavilion. The Peony Pavilion was written by Tong Shenzhou in 1598. That's not a misprint. It's a masterpiece in Quinn opera. A long play of 55 scenes revolves around the love story of Li Young, the daughter of a high official in southern Jiangxi, and Li Mengmei, a young scholar. Although the drama follows a typical pattern of love stories in which conflict comes from parental interruption, the young lover's obedience to the parents and her own impressible love for her lover, this script throws in a very unusual twist. Li Young falls in love with a scholar whom she's only met once in a dream. Having awakened from her dream, she became lovesick and unconsoled in her longing, until she finally pined away with a broken heart in the seclusion of her maidenly chamber. The scholar, Li Mengmei, happens to be a real person, and through sheer accident ends up staying in the garden where the dream happened, and where Li Young were buried. Eventually, Li met Li Young's ghost, disinters her body, and Li Young comes back to live and unite with Li Mengmei. The beginning of the story is in the first two scenes. A stroll in the garden where Li Young is accompanied by her maid, Tong Xiong, enters the garden for the first time in her life. The spring flowers are in full bloom. The young lady is struck by the beauty of nature and suddenly feels the joy as well as the pains of life. An uninterrupted dream. Tired from the stroll in the garden, Li Young falls asleep in her chambers and dreams as she returns to the garden, encounters a young man under a plum tree, and has an intimate moment with him. Awakened from the dream by her mother, Li Young feels that her real life is aimless and confined. The excerpt presented today is the third scene, Dreamland Revisited. Here, Li Young revisits the garden where she dreamed of passions. Haunted by the sweet memories of the dream, she longs to meet in real life the charming young man. You will be able to see the beautiful spring scenery in eyes of the in-love young girl and her recall of the sweet meeting time with the young man in her dream.
It's just the traditional way.
And we should thank our makeup artists.
I was fascinated with the sleeve and the length of the sleeve. Isn't that
Yeah, the sleeve is very useful. It can do all kinds of things. When she was there, then some vine trapped her skirt, and so okay, what I did is then I cleared one. Then I said, oh, this is naughty. Then he used sleeve like that. Why did he do that?
Thank you. The back.
You completely memorized all the movements, all the notes, and all the words. How long did this take you to prepare?
A few months.
Wow, I'm really impressed.
Yeah, that's the way of the Chinese opera. It's everything is kind of fixed or set. You don't change things. You walk 3 steps. Like when I come out, the stage is small, I walk 3 steps. Bigger, maybe 5 or 7. It's all set. And you cannot just walk anything you want. And all the things, okay.
Can you tell us about your technique to move? You were very, very smooth and your feet were kind of going in and out. I couldn't see them exactly. Can you show us a little bit more about that?
Okay. And she was looking at the, in the spring, the trees, then something hang. I don't know what the English name is. So he was looking at it, like the things in the wind,
The weeping willow.
Okay. What I do is,
A Chinese moonwalk.
It has some special significance to the various fan movements that you can tell us.
what?
The movement of the fan.
Oh, the fans.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's very useful then too. I don't know. I think just use it for it's beautiful. Like when you want to look there, you don't just look. And look again. Yeah, also like this movement in the things in the wind is weaving.
Is there a written choreography that you follow, or
Yes.
are all the movements passed down?
The movement.
Yeah. I know they're set.
The
but is
movement
there
has
a written choreography where you can read and study, or do you just have to watch?
original. Yes, it's written, but through the years, some improvement. At this play, and the music and the libretto is all written originally, like in 1598. We didn't change anything. We sing the same notes. We sing the same words. It's all poetry.
First of all, you're so graceful and so elegant and just so gentle. I mean, just such a beautiful movement. I didn't understand, but I was drawn in. Tell us about your hands. Are your hands speaking as you move them? Is there speech in your hands to accommodate when you move your hands?
That's just a pose, I think. So this one is a pose. But this one, it's like poem. There, I'm looking. So I'm looking there. Yeah. So I want to look further. Then closer. What is that? That's the Peony Pavilion.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
When you're learning music, I guess they didn't have CDs back then.
Oh.
Is it memorized from
Yeah.
performance, or is there an instrument that you use to practice from, or how do you learn the music?
Oh, and CD. In the older time, it's all word by mouth. All the teacher did. There's reading things, but the reading things is not that. In every detail, there's some thing you have to just hear to be able to sound. You will just look at the music notes, and it's so dull, so plain.
You don't use a Western style written music, do you?
No, Chinese will reading. We try to translate it to you more than one, but the modern one just doesn't do the job. To all the express, all the original, what is really meaning.
What's the earliest age, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, to start learning to do this?
I started doing that only 3 or 4 years ago. And the kids, not that, I think they can start very early, 5, 6 years old. That's why it's become so natural for them.
Do you
copy of what the Chinese music notation looks like, just so we could have an idea?
I don't have one. So, you know. Yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah, but she said it's not the same.
Yes.
I just wondered what it looked like.
It's like it looks like a character.
Oh, it does?
Right.
Yeah. It looks like characters.
They associate with the Peony Pavilion with a character.
Okay.
And then when you see that, because each character on the side has how you sing that,
Oh,
and you
okay.
have that associated.
Right.
I noticed in this scene, you're our lone presenter today. Is there much interaction with other singers in
Yes.
this particular opera? And if so, how many? Our operas are quite elaborate, and I'm wondering if the Chinese operas are as simply beautiful as, without a whole lot. How are they presented?
Like a Peony Pavilion has 55 cents, but normally, mostly presented usually 10, about 10 of them. The first scene is two persons, it's Lydia and the girl and her maid. And the second scene is very interesting. That's the interrupted dream. So the whole thing is about her dream. In her dream, so there's a young man, and that scene has lots of people. Has the flower spirit is all by girls. You can have 10 girls, they all flower spirit. One group lead the girl, the other group lead the boy. They were dreaming. Oh, there, they met each other. Then all the flower girls left. Leave those two lovebirds. they do sing, of course. Yeah, this way, just simpler, very easy. I don't need anybody. It's hard to find anybody.
Okay, this particular piece is a single player, and she's dreaming and went back to the garden to visit the garden and dream, and those three pieces is a single thing by herself.
Yeah, yeah.
In a full-scale presentation, how big would the orchestra be?
There will be the major company is flute, then another string or space art, about 10. Then there's the flag. But if you have 5, you have a very good one. Professional, better.
And does the language of the song carry the story?
Right.
So if we all knew Chinese, we would have a word.
Yeah. Like the third piece at the beginning. Who is that young man? He's so handsome. Then all the look again. Oh.
It's amazing enough, and that the script was written about the same time Shakespeare wrote the Romeo and Juliet, and that's a love story as well. And the gentleman said, maybe if you understand Chinese, may understand, but not necessarily, because it's written in the portrait form, just like in Shakespeare time, and we do not understand all the words. But that is, sometimes when I look at the English portion, I understand what's the meaning of that, because it's portrait form, so some Chinese still don't understand.
That's yeah.
How large is the repertoire?
Sorry.
Excuse me. How large is the repertoire of a singer like yourself in China? Are there 20 of these operas? Are there 60 or?
The Kunqu opera?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there are hundreds.
performed in China today?
Yes. There are 7 professional troupes. It's not popular. It's not a popular art, but there's still people doing it. Very dedicated.
Do they ever come to the States? Do they ever come?
Yes.
Yes.
A couple of years ago,
Okay.
there's a group came into New York and did the one-week performance and was
Into New York.
in New York in Penny Center and completely sold out and was whole weeks of performance because this particular story is condensed to 1 week, but it has 55 pieces. Yeah.
It was streamed live.
But-
Streamed live on the internet.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. If you Google the Peony Pavilion, and then you will find it.
Oh, okay.
If we wanted to watch any more of these, like, are they present on YouTube? Is there
Yeah, there's lots of
reserves there?
YouTube.
Okay.
A few years ago, in fact, the Shanting did that, organized that, we invited some artists that had
From China, from Shanghai.
had a performance in Bali Theater.
Yeah.
That's 2009.
Yeah.
Then, in fact, I went to that play. After I watched that, I just hooked.
And
That's
she
that.
wanted out. That's
I
why
didn't
she
know
started
anything
learning.
before that. Just after I watched that, this is so charming, so beautiful. I want to learn. Here I am.
Where are you from in China?
I'm from the East Coast, the nearest city is Qingdao. Maybe you know Qingdao beer. It's like in the East Coast, it's kind of between Beijing and Shanghai. So it's a little colder than here. It's still weather. Not too cold.
Near Shanghai?
No, it's between Beijing and Shanghai.
Between
The East Coast.
Beijing and Shanghai.
Yeah.
However, the Queen Opera, it is originally near Shanghai, and it is a Queen sang, and it started there.
Yeah, briefly, the Kunqu is a friendship ship of Durham.
I've been to Beijing and to Shanghai. I've been to Beijing and to Shanghai.
Okay. Did you watch any opera?
I did not. I did see, I don't remember now. I think it was something in martial arts.
Yes, big city.
Okay, one more? Yes, I have a question. Besides your practice for the dance and the moves, what else do you do for fitness, exercise?
You mean practice? We run like that. That's you practice, then you can have the elegant movements. Besides that, I'm a runner. I just did the Boston City Marathon, the half marathon, and 20. I guess that helped.
Thank you.
Let's hear.
Thank you very much. I hope to see you tomorrow or next Sunday. Thank you.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, boy. Good to see you. Sir, how you doing? Doing good. Great. Yeah. Yeah. All the little subtle things. Right admire. Yeah. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Thank you.